Final Fantasy is a long-running series in the RPG genre. It's very famous. It's a very transcending. A lot of concepts and game mechanics and cinema techniques have come from Final Fantasy. It's got a huge legacy. Final Fantasy 13 is its latest non-online iteration, so we're gonna be reviewing that today. Final Fantasy's battle system is really good. It's like a culmination of all Final Fantasy battle systems, you know, from 1 to 12, all put together, and it's got all the best of it in there and all the worst taken out. You got the active time battle system, which started in Final Fantasy 4, which basically takes away the need for taking turns. Everything goes on in real time, which always keeps you at the edge of your seat. Because you got to be quick, and that especially becomes very fun with the hard enemies and the hard boss fights, where you really just got to move and you got to be very quick. Final Fantasy 13 is the best in the series that does the active time system, battle system. It does it pretty well. You also have the paradigm shift system, and that's pretty good because it's always a challenge trying to figure out the best way to control the other characters that are in your party. I mean, do you have the computer control all aspects of those characters, or do you have a micromanaging system like in Final Fantasy 12? How do you do that? Well, Final Fantasy 13's answer to that is a paradigm shift, where basically each character has its own class, like healer type or damage dealing type, and you assign those, you pre-assign those settings in the menu screen. A lot of it's already done for you, so you just pick the correct paradigm and then you shift into it. They're basically all just preset modes of which characters adapt which class of job class systems. Then you have the Crystarium, and that's the development system that's in Final Fantasy 13. It looks very pretty. That's you collect crystal points, or whatever they call it, instead of experience points. And you basically allocate those points to whatever you want to learn, kind of like the Sphere Grid in Final Fantasy 10. It looks very pretty. It's more 3D. And to be quite honest, you could achieve the same thing by just leveling up normally with experience points, like a lot of RPGs have done before or are doing now. But they wanted to make it look all pretty, and it kind of gives you the illusion that you actually have control in your development, when you really don't. It's a very straightforward path. You're selecting which skills you want to learn and abilities you want to learn. It's all preset. It just looks very pretty, and you're doing a lot of it on your own, so it looks like you're developing your characters the way you want, but not really. The graphics in Final Fantasy 13 are pretty good. In fact, they're very good, actually. Some of the best in the RPG history, basically. It is definitely one of the prettiest looking role-playing games. And the production value is very high, as well as the music. The music is incredible. The music is, they got some really good, nice songs that kind of push you to the mood and tone that they're trying to drive you to. Sometimes they put you at the edge of your seat. Sometimes you're kind of, you're in moments where it's sad. The music does a really good job at tugging at your emotions. The characters, quite frankly, are too stereotypical for me. I didn't like them. You got Lightning, the main character. She's, everybody says she looks like Cloud, but she's not very similar to Cloud. She's more of like kind of the girl with the attitude problem, but it's all really just a front to, because she's really soft inside type of thing. Then you got Snow, who's like the macho guy. That's pretty much him. You have Fang, who's like the, kind of like, if you're familiar with Final Fantasy, she looks kind of like the illegitimate child of Kain from Final Fantasy 4 and Rinoa. They basically merged them together. She looks like part Dragoon, part whatever Rinoa was in Final Fantasy 8. Then you have Hope, who's probably one of the worst characters ever in Final Fantasy. He looks pretty wimpy. He acts pretty wimpy. He makes a lot of comments, and he says a lot of things that are just plain annoying. You have Vanille, who's just, the overly cute, hyper, girly girl, and that's just annoying. That's very standard. The real problem I had was with Zazz. A lot of people like Zazz, which is confusing to me because he's very stereotypical. Black guy with an afro, he uses guns, with his fighting stance looks like he's doing the Dougie. And when you sub it, He's doing a sideshow. He does donuts and 360s, and even a chicken comes out of his head. You know, what's up with the KFC reference? I don't understand. And then on top of all that, he's dressed like kind of like a post-Civil War type of Frederick Douglass looking dude. So I'm like, wow, this is like, and then he's a comic relief character out of all of them. So it's very stereotypical black. I guess since I'm black, I'm the only one that notices. And I just had a problem with the main characters. They're not really unique. The NPCs also are a problem. You know, the people you talk to when you go to villages and towns and cities. For the most part, they're very one-dimensional. They're just stupid. They hate the Lassie. Like, you know, it's kind of like a racist situation where people hate Lassie for no reason. But when you talk to these NPC people, it's very unreasonable. Like, the reason why they like Lassie, and it's almost as if the whole world is filled with a bunch of people who aren't very smart. The pros of Final Fantasy 13 are that it's got a really good battle system, probably the best in Final Fantasy history. It has really good graphics, and it has really good music. The con really is the storyline. It's very cliche, stereotypical characters, one-dimensional NPCs. Thanks for looking at the review. Check out more reviews at Passionate Players at GamesZoneRecreation.com. Once you start delving in, you start seeing like, okay, this is Tim Burton.
What the hell was that?
I guess it was the wind.
Oh man, jeez.
Well, we'll keep it rolling.
Yeah. Oh man, that was unexpected.